Hey everybody, Shawn Andrich here from Gamers with Jobs, and welcome to Chapter 11 of the Unmarked. It's been a little while. We've been on a bit of a summer hiatus, so sorry about that. Last we left our crew, they were entering an elevator and going into the basement and perhaps beyond in the Brown Mansion. And unfortunately, Corey Banks is sick today to record, so we had to creatively write him out, but I think it's actually going to lead to some pretty interesting interstitial content. Hopefully you can be hearing pretty soon as well. So here we go into Chapter 11 of the Unmarked.
Here we are. We're going to retcon things a little bit because Corey Banks is sick. So he can't be here today. So at the end of the last chapter, you all got in an elevator and you pushed 11, 11, 11, 11. And the elevator started moving downward. But what happened in reality is as the doors were closing and as you were fumbling around with it, Chet looked down at his phone and just went, no, 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 and ran out of the elevator as the doors closed. And that's the last that you know of him now. We'll do a pickup side thing to figure out what happened to him.
It's been a Red Ravens game he was late for.
At 4 a.m. He likes to get there early and get feel for the field and how it's working that day. So you're in an elevator. It's an old elevator. It's in the Brown Mansion. And in reality, the Brown Mansion does have an old elevator. I don't know if it's functional anymore. And it goes down past the basement, which also had I believe a walk-in fridge. It had something very unique for the time, Brown Mansion. And then it continues down past and starts descending deeper into the earth than you would expect the basement or the foundation to normally be. And after a moment, 30 seconds, it seems a bit like an eternity. The elevator rattles to a stop. And there you sit. This is an old elevator with a cage and doors that were manually done, so it's just waiting for you. I think we said at the end of the last episode that it opened, but this is the new reality.
Okay. Pull that thing open.
Okay. You open into what you can sense is a room, but it's dark. There's no electricity. There's no lights. You get a sort of cold, damp cave air that you might get if you were touring a wine cellar or something where you know like you're underneath the earth and it's that nice 58 degrees or whatever it is. It smells musty, slightly rusty, but you can't really see much past that.
I'd probably pull out my phone at this point and turn on the flashlight on it.
I got a flashlight.
Or cell phone.
Oh wait,
flashlight.
am I stepping on your chance to bust out a real
I got
flashlight?
a flashlight.
I put my phone away stealthily.
Regina's blue collar, so she absolutely has one of those little, like, tiny mag lights on her keychain.
Right.
Okay. So you manage to illuminate the room quickly, and with sort of beams crossing back and forth, almost like a strobe light of trying to pick up what you're seeing. You're a little on edge, you're a little paranoid, so, and then after a minute it settles down and an image starts to come together. You are in a relatively well-created, it's not a cave, it's got like cinder blocks and concrete, it's a finished room in the basement, or in the sub-basement. On the far end of the room is an old map, it looks like, that's been tacked against the wall. There are various tables around, and at the far end of it, you can see another tunnel leading off into the darkness, but it looks like it may have partially collapsed.
Okay, everybody stop. Don't move. We gotta look for traps.
I step out of the elevator
Yeah,
and head over to the map.
Roll for initiative. You fall into a pit trap.
Oh no!
I go over and take a photograph, using the cell phone camera light of the map to make sure that we got it.
You're going to check out the map. What is everyone else doing?
I'm also
checking out the tables.
Okay. I'm just checking I'm checking the whole room.
You're looking for traps. You've already established
traps.
Be a team player, Shawn.
So actually, that's a good question, Shawn. And wow, everyone has to remember it's been 2 months since we were recording. So your character's name is Chuck.
Chuck.
All right, Chuck, are you a role player or were you just...
No, he's a role player.
He's a role player. So this is his dungeon crawl. So he's in.
Yeah, he's in. He's all in.
Yeah, and he's the thief character, apparently.
he's got the most dexterity.
Yeah. Okay. So is he like totally getting off on the fantasy of crawling around underneath things? Or...
Well, as the elevator went down and it went past the basement, it's just sort of this realization like, oh, we're going like way below the earth right now, underneath a haunted mansion. And it's just something is just shifting and there's a certain unreality to what just happened. And so there's a certain unreality to what Chuck is perceiving. Just a slight little move to the left. And now he's just sort of like, okay, it's an underground dungeon. We got to watch out for traps and booby traps. This is like a secret place. So of course they'd have traps or something. It's like a mummy's tomb. Like who knows what's down here?
Okay. I apologize in advance for my slight cold and my occasional cough. All right, so you're looking around the room. It's dusty. It's dirty. It's old. It was probably put in when the mansion was built or maybe after. You're not really quite sure. On the wall is a map of the town, at least the town as it looked in you don't know your town history that much. The 20s, the 30s, sometime in the past, the late teens maybe. And there are various places marked on the map, like almost like big red circles, and you can see a half dozen of them. You're not quite sure. Regina, you're over looking around at the tables. There are a few faded like newspapers that kind of ground it to be the late teens. I got to open something up to figure out exactly what year I want it to be.
Are there like cutout articles and stuff like that?
No, it's just a newspaper that was left out, maybe a Life magazine.
Okay.
1918, we're going to make it. And the only thing that you start flipping around through stuff, and the only thing that's interesting is you notice out of one of the magazine falls a single tarot card of the magician.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
So as I'm looking at the map and I see these circles, do any of them strike me as obvious, connected to things we've seen before? Like, is there a circle around where the circus was?
Or the glass factory.
Or the glass factory, yeah.
Actually, all of the circles seem to be where you recall the glass factories were, although in 1918 they wouldn't have been built yet. Or some of them might have built, but you're not really up on the glass factory history that much.
Is there any indication of any kind of source of light down here? What would they have used to actually light?
There were old, not used, no longer useful lights that were around the outside. Like where you see the like tubing or the piping going around the outside, and then it would be like a gas light or an old electric. Right. But it would be electric in 1918.
Yeah.
But when at some point the house was probably rewired, and whatever wiring would have been done didn't get rewired down here.
Okay, so you said glass factories. So I knew that that used to be a big industry here.
Yeah.
We've only been to the one, which is now Chuck's weight room, right?
Yeah.
And so this is for the other one. So I make sure we get good pictures of this so we could, have it with us. Although I guess we could take the map too.
I mean, the map's in relatively good condition because it's been low humidity, same temperature. You can take a picture. That would be fine. You can try to take it down. It's nothing.
Is the brown mansion circled?
No, it's not marked in particular. Although when you find the brown mansion, you see a different sort of marking, what would have been across the road from it. Like there's some sort of marking. You can't really decipher. It's an oval, maybe. Everything else seems like a rough circle. This one seems like a more formalized oval, like a Circus Maximus sort of look.
Okay, well, I guess we can't ignore it any longer. Chuck, you want to come check out this big giant tunnel with me? Make sure there are no traps?
Yeah, definitely. I'll go first.
Okay. I was going to suggest that.
What is everyone else doing? So the two of you are going to check out the tunnel.
I'm just going to keep looking at. I'm going to take the map down, look at the backside of it. I'm continue to scavenge the room for clues. Like, why the hell is there a map in this room? Like, what were they using this room for?
Right.
Trying to piece together a story about what they were doing down here.
I'm gonna go down the tunnel.
Okay. Are you taking anything? You're taking the map. Are you taking anything else?
Has anything else looked interesting?
Well, I mean, take the tarot card, take the newspaper.
Yeah.
So, okay. So you're gathering up, and it's almost an inconsequential moment when Regina, I guess, picks up the tarot card.
Mm-hmm.
You all feel really, really briefly horrible. And then the room seems to shift. And you find yourself in the exact same room, but well lit now.
Like, well lit by the now working lights on the walls?
The now working lights on the walls. And what you see is something that a couple weeks ago would have made you just, question all reality. Now you're just questioning part of your reality. You see a businessman, and from all of your records and research, you assume that it's William Brown, the founder of the estate. He is surrounded by what appears to be a circus, or at least people from a circus. You see a magician, you see a clown, you see someone with a big turban on their head like a fortune teller. And what's unusual to you is you see a number of other workmen around the room, people dressed like day laborers from the turn of the last century. And when you look down at yourself, you realize that you are one of these people.
One of the day laborers.
Yes.
Okay.
You do not see any of each other in the room. All you see is a couple circus people, and you see William Brown, and you see a bunch of day laborers who quite honestly look bored out of their mind, except for three others who seem to be looking around violently and confused at what is going on. While there's a good half dozen other people who are just completely like sitting on shovels and waiting and kind of sitting and having a smoke and doing everything else while the bosses talk.
Are all the day laborers dudes?
Yes.
Interesting.
So, and you come in the middle of a conversation where William Brown is talking, and he's pointing at the map and he's circling things, which you realize are the circles you've seen. And he's saying, now, we've kind of located the, what were you calling them again? And the ringmaster says, splits. He's like, right, the splits seem to be reoccurring in the same places. And he's drawing circles on the maps. And he's like, we need to figure out why your people aren't able to stop it. And he's circling on the map. Now, you are in full control of your body, of everything that's going on. Do you want to do anything while this is happening?
I'm checking out to see if there's anything else on the walls or on the tables that wasn't there in our time.
Yeah. Paper bags, glasses, apple cores, right? It seems like this room is just being finished.
Right.
There's no tunnel on the other side of the wall where you were heading to. And the conversation goes on for a little bit, and I assume you want to listen. Rather than have me act with myself, I'll give you sort of the highlights of what comes out of this. Is they seem to be talking about the same problem that you were having and saying that there's something here that seems to have taken root. Some sort of, I had a cool name for it. Some sort of night walker. That's what I called him, who had come through, and rather than being able to be absorbed, seems to be able to jump from host to host and avoid being captured because something is tethering it here. But they don't know what. And what they know is that the regular circus can't seem to keep things closed. They keep reopening. So they're proposing back and forth, and they don't know if it'll work, forming these glass factories where they can build giant furnaces on these rifts and hoping the light will keep the shadows at bay.
Oh, shit.
And they recognize that it's
man.
a stopgap method, but it may work until they figure out the larger problem.
I'm going to kind of incidentally sort of bump the person next to me. I just want to get a sense if I'm just kind of looking through some eyes, or if I'm actually a physical person in this room, and I'm getting reaction from people around me.
Yeah, well, you bump into the person next to you, seems to be a hulking moose-like figure with little social skills.
Mm-hmm.
And although the bump is rather casual, apparently he's a frosty type. And he gives you like a good shove for a second and then grabs your arm hard and just says, "Hey, sit still."
Sorry.
So,
Bug, something.
and he just like moves away, like hulking away, smells of garlic and cheap beer.
Ooh.
I think to myself, that one was probably Chuck.
Oh, man.
Because we can't tell who everybody is, right?
You can't tell.
We saw, like, I saw the people looking around wildly. So I'm gonna make a logical leap that these other people who also seem as stunned as me and not bored are you guys.
Yeah.
That's my assumption.
Yeah, but we can't tell who is what I meant.
Oh, no, not
Actually,
specific.
the interesting thing is you can make some educated guesses, like the way that you carry yourself, like the way you hold your body and mannerisms and stuff seems to be driven by you. So you could be like, oh, that person's sort of acting like nervous foot to foot, like Chuck does when he's in a weird situation, and that sort of thing.
Right. That one's kind of slump-shouldered, like Ethan.
Yeah.
Like broken person. So this goes on, and eventually the conversation is moving to that oval that you notice on the map, where God, I keep forgetting his name. William Brown starts talking about building an amusement park across the street, some sort of place where you could gather people in some sort of circle to maybe do what the circus does when they're not there.
Got it.
And they seem skeptical that this is going to work, but it certainly can't.
The circus.
Yeah, the circus folk are like, well, it doesn't really quite work that way. He's like, well, could it really hurt? Gives people something to do in the meantime. True story, William Brown did build an amusement park across the street for no explainable reason.
Now we know why.
So this goes on, and then you notice something really interesting, and you all notice it in a slightly different time. The fortune teller has been going back and forth between the four of you with a look on his face. And he walks over and starts whispering something to the magician. And the magician's reacts loudly, almost interrupting the conversation. He's like, "That will kill me." And the fortune teller shrugs like, "Well, you don't want to live forever, do you, son of a bitch?" He's like, "No, I don't think you know." He's like, "I know what you're asking, but I know we're not going to solve this. I know, because that's what I do. I know we're not going to solve this, and they might." And the magician takes out a deck of cards. And the fortune teller shuffles through and finds the magician. And he goes to each of you. And he nods and then puts it on the table. And he basically says, to no one, he goes, "We'll leave as many clues as we can. They won't all be this obvious."
Oh, man.
I nod back.
Yeah, so does Vegeta.
Yeah, lots of knowing nods.
Yeah. So you nod back, and all of a sudden he looks at you and he goes, "You got to run. You got to run. They're here." And all of a sudden you find yourself back in your present day, and all of your lights are dimming.
All right, get back in the elevator. Get whatever we got.
Yeah.
Get in the elevator.
We
go.
don't have our clown with us. We got to go.
No, you have your clown.
We have our clown. We don't have our ringmaster.
Okay.
Actually, the darkness seems to be coming from the elevator. There's something dark coming down the shaft of the elevator and spilling out.
Well, the other way, I guess.
Time to run.
There is no other way. The tunnel's blocked, right?
You might need to do some work on it.
Let's go down.
Let's look. So, what does the tunnel look like? What are we talking here?
It would have been an access tunnel, you suspect now, under the street over to where the circus or the fairgrounds were. It would have been a service tunnel from this hidden room under. So as such, it could probably walk two people abreast, and
How bad is the blockage?
Some masonry's caved in near the entrance. You don't really know. It's not something that normal people would be able to deal with, though.
Regina starts digging.
Yep.
Okay.
Digging.
Enthusiastically, like a dog would. And with the same sort of general disregard for, cracking nails or...
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Regina gets down on all fours and starts digging, throwing pebbles and debris behind her. And meanwhile, sort of billowing out of the elevator shaft is this sort of inky darkness. And you can hear maybe children's voices, like the ghosts of the house are intermixed with them. But maybe you're just making that up because that would be the most horrible thing to have intermixed with it.
Ethan.
Yeah.
I feel like there's one rock. If we can just get it out of the way, the rest is just going to collapse.
Absolutely. That's a great point. Yeah, I'm going to try and help Regina find the exact rock that will just make everything sort of, dislodge.
Okay, so draw a card for that.
Okay. I have drawn the star.
The star, that sounds very exciting.
Yeah.
All right.
So
Which way is it?
It is normal, up, whatever.
It is normal. Okay. We've had that one before. When the star appears, you're likely to find yourself feeling rather inspired. You'll be feeling more hopeful about the future and more confident that your needs, whether emotional or financial or both, will be met. You may find yourself at a time feeling at one with all of creation. Savor it. This is a good omen.
I make a mental note to high five Chuck later.
Yeah, it says you can accomplish nearly anything you set out to do now. Think big.
Not only is it going to clear, but we're going to see a clear path to escape.
Okay.
And, suggestion, it collapses again behind us.
Oh.
I like a big one. That might knock a few months off.
Yeah, do you want to do that?
Do I want to live forever? No, let's do it.
All right, so you find one rock, you pull it, and the wall of masonry, almost magically, seems to destabilize for a second and then tumble down, covering Regina in a bit of debris and dust, which seems to invigorate her rather than annoy her. And with that, there is a perfectly human-sized path that leads out into the darkness. And you file through, and then you just know, you're almost counting like 3, 2, 1, and then the pile goes behind you. Nearly flawless, except for this inky shadow that grabs whose leg?
Who's in the back, Jacob?
I'd say
It would definitely
Ethan.
definitely be me in the back,
you.
because I'd be there to try to fight whatever's coming through.
Okay, so some sort of inky shadow, which looks oddly manifested like a toddler's hand, but made out of ink and shadow,
Oh, point your lights at it.
is grabbing you. You can try to put your lights at it. You can try to absorb it. You can try to kick it back.
Well,
it almost seems to have substance.
When it's reaching out, it grabs my right leg, right where Janine, spirit death.
Well, before you
blackness
decide
was.
that, why don't you draw a card and we'll see how well that you can control the narrative
That's where
here.
it's going. I drew the Queen of Cups upside down.
Queen of Cups. Okay. Oops, I went to the wrong one. Please hold. All right. It indicates compassion, love, and concern for ourselves and fellow man. So Queen's very high, so you're going to get to control this. It reminds us to treat ourselves with love and compassion. Regardless of your past or your circumstances, you are worthy of love and respect. So you did a Queen, which is good. You get to sort of basically finish this narration. So tell me compassionately how you deal with this shadow.
Well, so it's, I feel it reach for that part of my leg, the right leg femur, right? And instinctively, because I feel this coldness coming at it, I just sort of let it collapse, right? So, and that makes me stumble a little bit, right? So now I'm on this sort of elastic man, thin piece of flesh that the thing was going. But I turn and stop because I can actually feel that there are the souls of these kids trapped in with this darkness, and that just seems like that's just wrong. Like I could get away, but then something's tied up in this darkness. It's not just the darkness by itself.
Yep.
So I let my leg re-expand, and I actually pull the arm over further and try to sort of wrap it around me. And I'm in my head, I'm thinking, is there a way I can pull whatever's in here apart from this darkness and try to separate it?
Okay. Yeah, you're trying to do something very tricky. You could just absorb it, but you're trying to basically extract what was probably something from our world that's been corrupted from something from another world and bound together. So this is like a tricky ungrafting sort of procedure you want to do. So it could go.
I'm making it up as I go along anyway.
Yeah, well,
so
that's what we're all doing here. So you can draw one more card to see how much you screw this up or succeed with grace.
The Wheel of Fortune.
Oh, boy.
Wheel of
I knew someone would do it. Okay. Which way is the wheel?
I'm going to say straight up.
Okay.
One of those babies was Pat Sajak. Just say.
In most cases, this indicates positive needed changes. It can be traumatic. This is a very spiritually and karmically oriented time. Change is part of the cyclical nature of life. This card reminds us that this too shall pass. So I'm going to say, because you drew a major arcana, that you basically do what you want to do, that you manage to find what you realize is a ghost that's been haunting the mansion, sort of corrupted by all this stuff and trapped for decades. And you manage to free it, but in the process, you touch upon the 80 years of loneliness that's been through a 3-year-old's mind.
Okay.
You're going to be a bit low for a while. Like you absorb that into yourself. You grow visibly whiter. You don't absorb the shadow. You almost break it. You've done something that maybe hasn't been done often, if at all, which is instead of absorbing it, to sort of absolve it in a way. And without a host, it manages to go back. It sort of retreats and slithers back under the rocks. And you feel amongst all of this loneliness, this moment of joy from this child that is basically all powerful and all consuming, untethered by adult rational thinking. It's just the pure emotion of joy of going someplace safe again. And so although you were brought low in one way, you were raised up in another, and you got a lot of stuff to deal with now.
So in other words, I'm a clown. Got it.
Yeah.
I try and help him back up.
Yeah.
Kinda
I'm just visibly gutted, and my normal hey, let's go do this thing. It's just gone. Like I'm just like, oh, okay.
Come on, Jacob.
So
I got you.
I'm just following Ethan.
Yeah, you're not sure what happened. You just saw some shadow come out, and he concentrated for a minute, and then almost like a string was cut from him, like he just dropped sobbing, crying. Yeah.
No, not crying.
No.
Just empty. Just empty.
Okay. Empty. Okay, and the tunnel is now sealed behind you. You have enough lights, even though these seem to be things of shadow. They are bothering you no more, and the tunnel leads down into darkness. A slight incline, damp and creepy, and everything else that you would expect from a 100-year-old underground tunnel from a secret lair to an old abandoned amusement park.
Chuck is about 10 feet ahead with his light, just a piece of light just slowly distancing from the rest of the group.
Okay.
Come on!
Regina circles around to the back in what you might call a herding sort of motion.
Okay. Okay, good. You're sort of herding them forward.
Yep.
Chuck, I want you to have I want you to have your D&D moment here.
Everybody wants that.
I hadn't planned on it, but man, if we're not going to we got an underground tunnel with a thief taking point. We got to just do this for a split second.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, the tunnel has collapsed and there's a 10-foot ravine that someone has to jump over.
If only we had a pole. A 10-foot pole.
I was born for this.
And on the other side, you can see some old construction timbers that maybe if you can get to them, you can put them back across to fashion a bridge.
Sure. You know Chuck's not just going to leap straight forward. He's going to do an Assassin's Creed run along the wall.
Okay.
Right? Yeah.
So we're going to draw a card for this, and it's going to, because you're doing it some awesome way.
Yeah.
It's going to be a little more difficult.
Okay. And great. This is the Chuck. You literally asked for this, and this is when you die. That's not good. 2 of cups.
Oh, that's the lowest card.
Literally the lowest card.
No, I'm sorry. The Ace of Cups would be the one. Is it reversed or regular?
Let's say reverse, because why not?
Just to really complete it.
I will point out, every time Chuck has a moment to think about it, he never does well. He's good
right?
if something's got him in the moment, but when he's just like, he's got like, oh yes, and he's excited, it's like you're taking too long to take the shot when you're playing basketball, or you're about to shoot some pool or whatever.
It says, when you receive the reverse 2 of cups, you may find suddenly that you like your work a lot less. But if this work is not truly right for you, then you may need to start thinking of making a change. So, this is what you think of because you are all up in your head when you go down here. You are thinking more about how you look, whether you should have a cloak.
Well, of course you should have a cloak. I mean,
maybe you should have blades that come out of your hands, even though you don't know how to use them. That would be super cool. And basically what you are is all of the ego of Chuck trying to make an impression, which is why, of course, it all goes horribly wrong.
The walls are soft dirt. They're like there's like parts that have crumbled, so like his foot gets into it and just sort of sinks in. It's just not solid enough to actually take his weight when his foot like hits that first step.
So you take that first step, it sinks in unexpectedly, breaks your concentration. Immediately, your first reaction, and correct me if I'm wrong, is a bit of shame about how this is going to look.
Yeah.
And with that, you tumble hopelessly down into the ravine, which is not that deep, right? And it's collapsed in, so it kind of funnels down. There was an underwater stream that caused the sink, and it went down, so it kind of comes in a V shape. Mm-hmm. And at the bottom is some soft water and some rubble. So this is the same ankle that you broke.
No.
Damn it!
At the circus.
Well, broke but didn't break. But I guess broke.
But you broke, but then history was rewritten on your behalf. It's not broken this time because you felt what it was like to break. But oh, does that hurt? And you go tumbling down into the bottom. What now, Chuck?
I'm okay.
Chuck!
Like a cat who
Can
fell
we
off
just
the
climb
table.
down into the ravine, cross it, and climb up the other side?
No, don't say that we can do that. That would be that would just be so bad.
That's exactly what we do. As I pass by him, I go, "Have you considered fortune telling?"
Thanks for helping me up,
No,
asshole.
Regina helped him out.
Yeah, there you go.
It is tough going that way. Like it's deep enough that you have to kind of hang by your fingertips and drop down, and it wouldn't have been your preferred way to do it. And on the other side, you have to kind of hoist someone up, and then they get up there and they have to pull people up. So if Chuck had managed to get across with the boards, it would have been far, far easier and far faster that when you end up doing.
And less muddy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, now you're kind of filthy, you're muddy. Chuck, how's your ankle?
It feels sprained. He's definitely limping. It's tender. I feel like I could run in it, but not without it would cost.
Okay. I can't remember when you talked to your uncle if we said that you recover faster.
I want to say, yeah, I don't know. I mean, you'd think so, but I can't remember one way or another.
I don't know. We'll see. Maybe you can make an attempt. You tell me what you want to do with your powers.
Yeah. Okay.
And with that, you walk limp through the darkness, and you end up at a door which is closed and either locked or swollen shut from ages of neglect.
And it's wood, I assume?
Yeah, banded wood, because we're just going to continue this dungeon crawl in the best possible way, and then we'll move on to, present time again. I'm just looking at the Google map.
I'm just going to try so we try the door. It does not open for sure, right?
It does not open easily, no.
Okay.
Swing in or swing out?
It swings out.
All right, well, let's put our shoulders to it, boys.
Yeah, and give it a once over. Give it a good kicker and push and stuff like that.
So you open out, you push, you kick, you eventually it opens, but then it's hitting against something on the other side, like something's been stacked against it, and you keep going.
Like good news.
Yeah, just knock it over.
Yeah.
Okay, so you start banging, and eventually there's this sort of crashing, cracking, splintering noise, and you see on the other side that you are in a basement that must have been refinished in the 70s, and you've just kicked through the wood paneling of the wall.
Yes.
Got it. Awesome.
And there is a couch, and there are Legos on the floor, and there are...
Some kid's basement.
And the sun is coming up, and you have made a hell of a lot of noise, and you hear some footsteps upstairs.
Shit.
Well, good thing we've got the voice of the Red Ravens here to talk our way out of this one.
Can we close the door back up?
Okay. So
well, you can close it, but you
noticed that, huh?
You probably destroyed the wood paneling and a couple of the studs. Luckily, the 2x4s were poorly done.
Is there a basement window?
Yeah.
There is a basement window. It is
How big is it?
Window sized.
Okay, so you could squeeze a Chuck body through it. Could you squeeze a Jacob body through it?
Well, my whole body doesn't collapse. Just my.
No, that's what I mean. Like your Jacob. In my mind, Jacob is slightly huskier. Than Chuck.
It would be hard going for Ethan, who's also taller, or Jacob.
Can't imagine we have a lot of time either. But
I just don't want to.
The light goes on, and
I don't want to have a Winnie the Pooh situation. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, no. You might have that. So the basement door opens, and the light goes on, and you see a bare foot going onto the stairs, very slowly, and then
I call out, "Hello, help us! Hello!"
Wow, going for the
no. This is good.
Who the fuck are you, and why are you in my basement?
We got trapped in a cave behind your wall.
I mean, it's true.
Go with the truth.
My name's Ethan.
Hello?
We're not here to. We're
Yes,
stuck.
I have intruders in my house. Could you send a patrol car over? Yes, I'm gonna lock the door. No, I don't know. And then it goes back up, and you hear.
Man, this is a mean town. God. Sleep with your doors unlocked, people. Come on.
Okay.
Your story was so plausible. I'm sure that anyone would believe that it wasn't a crackhead. All right. So you suspect you've got 5 minutes before a patrol car comes.
All right, let's get the fuck out this window.
You're not sure you're going to get all.
We're not going to get all of us out of this window. No, I think we have to go
bash
this. We have to go bash this door down. But before we do that, I go to the top of the stairs, and just because I sort of have this ability to not influence, but to tell very convincing lies.
Yes,
the people believe me when I say something. I say, honestly, we got trapped in a cave and we had to get our way out, and we just stumbled across this thing on the other side. I swear to God, we haven't broken into your house. We just need help. We've got people who are injured. Help.
All right, get the kids upstairs. Get the kids upstairs. Like a voice comes on the other side of the door. Who are you?
My name is Jacob. I'm an accountant in town. I'm here with Ethan, the lawyer.
There's no caves around here. We're in Kansas.
It's a long story, but believe me, we've got somebody hurt. Can we please just come up? We'll leave your house right away.
We can tell this to the police.
I mean, that's a fair reaction. That's what I fair. Okay. Okay. Door's locked. Regina, do you still have?
It's a basement door lock.
Yeah.
I mean,
I know.
I'm not inclined to actually be an E. So.
Well, I mean, we're not breaking we're
we
breaking
could just
and exiting.
Kick the door open. I'm guessing.
It opens in towards you. No, basement doors open out, don't they? Which way do they open up? They open out so you don't fall down the stairs and kill yourself. Right, it's probably up to code.
Yeah.
Right.
So
it
if
does
anything,
open out.
it's got a little sliding bolt lock thing to keep it from.
Yeah. No one really expects anyone to be.
He hasn't seen our faces yet, although you did just tell them who we are, so I guess that's a problem.
He's got Yeah, first names and occupations. It's fine.
Okay, sorry. I wasn't thinking very clearly.
And not only that, he really
day.
believed you when you said it, too.
Yeah, he's convinced that that's who we are.
Chances are he's not going to remember either of those things in the heat of the moment.
Oh,
here,
just
anyway.
kick the door down.
Just kick
we
the door
tried to
open.
be nice, but yeah.
Listen, we tried to do this the easy way.
Let's kick it in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Who's going to do it? Give me a card to see. You're going to do it just to see how long it takes if the police are there and if anyone else
Chuck.
screws themselves up.
Yeah, Chuck's not built for...
I vote Ethan. He's our luck.
I'll try and kind of swing it so it makes it easy on me. Also, I'm angry now at this guy. I will a Ace of Wands.
That's
There
the
we
lowest,
go.
by the
That's
way.
not good.
Aces are low.
Bad.
Sounds like somebody's
Who's
about to
gonna try
dislocate
next?
something.
Sounds like Ethan goes falling down the stairs to me.
Could we take a 20?
Well, it says if you're the Ace of Wands appears, know that something new and very positive is likely to be headed your way soon. Be bold and ask for what you want, need in the work career arena. You're likely to be more successful than you dream possible.
I want to be great at kicking things.
Unfortunately, you are not great at kicking things. So let's flash forward 5 minutes. The police are there.
I'm so sick of the cops. I just have to say.
I know. No more cops.
The police are there. They're talking to many of you in the kitchen while you're handcuffed. Some of them, though, are removing Ethan's leg from the door, which he has managed to kick through completely because it was a cheap wooden door. You did kick through it, but you did not kick it open, and that's when the police found you. One leg through it. There is strong suspicion that you're on meth or some other drug. You are not being treated in any nice way, but you can say your piece right now to the patrol people as much as you want as to why you were in the basement of, and give me some names of these people. Anyone?
The names of the cops?
Marvin
No,
and Elizabeth,
the family. What is it?
Marvin and Elizabeth Linkter.
Okay, cool.
Marvin, I think the next time you go downstairs, you'll find out there are caves in Kansas. I'm just saying, we told you exactly what was up. Look at this. We're covered in mud. We're injured. I'm kind of embarrassed right now, just be honest with you, because it's been a really bad morning. We had no idea we were knocking into your house. Go downstairs. Look.
Okay, so the police do send someone down, and they come up and they talk, and they're like, well, it is true. There's a tunnel down there, but we don't know where it leads. And so till we get this thing sorted out, we're going to have to take you down to the station because there's trespassing. Where did you say you came from before? Where was this cave located?
It just, crap.
Yeah, I've been trying to figure out an answer to that question because I knew it was coming. I got nothing.
There was this ravine. If you go down there, you'll find there's like this ravine and this weird, like, it's just, I fell in a ravine, ended up down there. We got lost. That's the story. Okay.
You are, to say the least, highly suspicious, and your story is full of holes.
Yeah, that's fair.
So you are being brought down to the station unless you tell me something dramatic that is else that is going to happen. You're just going to be cooled off in the cells. No charges are being pressed. We just need to hold you until we get this all sorted out. Do you need a lawyer?
I know a couple of them if anybody needs one. I haven't got anything. I'm at this point, Ethan looks resigned to go to the station.
What's our loose threads right now? Like story-wise.
Well, why were we in a cave?
No. I mean, like, other than us, like the stuff that's been going on, right? I mean, there could be another shadow attack, possibly, that requires police attention.
I don't know. We don't know where what's his name? Voice of the Red Ravens. I don't even remember him anymore. You're dead to me. Chet. I got Chuck stuck in my head, so it was.
I'd been like, we had our phones. I was texting Chet because I would have.
Yep.
Which is what I do when I'm in trouble with the police. Apparently, is I text Chet, but he didn't reply. So I don't know if you got the message or what's going on there, but
So
Yep.
I'm gonna propose a story beat here. Now that we know what we know about the glass factories, maybe one of them collapses. There's a like a sinkhole underneath one of them, and this requires police attention somehow.
you're asking Ethan to.
You're asking Ethan to pull a big one here.
Ooh. Man.
I'm just saying, it's like, what else do we got?
It's a thing that could happen.
There's always massive animal attacks. That always gets us out of trouble.
Yeah, but I don't have
police.
any
Pack of wild
access right
dogs.
now. Who am I going to talk?
Okay, I like the idea. That seems a little hard. What else would get their attention that's more plausible though? That wouldn't absolutely
How unlikely is it that they get into a car accident driving us to the station?
Well, we're in
That seems pretty-
handcuffs. Like
that
we
seems
need
pretty
we
likely.
need them to essentially decide we're less important and let us go.
Okay, so a giant car crash right in front of us
Okay,
on the way.
so you are in the cars now,
Okay.
right? You have been led because you don't really have the ability to discuss all this in front of the police. So you're sort of whispering back and forth, and then they finally get tired of it, and they put you in each pair of you in two different cars and start driving you down. Ethan, do you know any of them?
So it's me and who else in the car?
You tell me.
Okay, so Chuck and I are in the car because that's just good comedy. Chuck and I are in the car together. The two up front, the driver is sort of an older guy, and probably the other one's like his younger partner. But I do recognize the driver, who I actually represented his brother in like a I don't know, some sort of personal injury case. Like he just for the fun of it, he broke his leg at some point at work or something like that. So I do recognize him. His name's Keith, by the way.
Okay. Keith is the patrolman?
Yeah. I'm like,
Okay.
I'm sorry, you're Keith, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. Keith,
I am.
I represented your brother, Billy. We got him a bunch of money after he broke his leg. I just
Yeah.
yeah.
I remember. Yeah, you were his lawyer, right?
Yeah, totally. No, I'm really sorry about this whole thing. I know it looks totally weird, but
It does.
So, all right, here's really what's up. Okay, look, if you go down in that tunnel area, what you're going to find is a bunch of sort of old beams, like construction beams and stuff like that. And it's an old work site where somebody else, like your brother, got injured. I couldn't talk about it in the area, because client confidentiality. You know, right? You remember the stuff. So,
yeah. You know what? Do you want me to put this in the report?
No. That's the thing. I mean, I'm telling you so that you can corroborate what we're saying. You're going to go down there. Your folks, whoever goes down there, is going to find this kind of weird old construction site. Somebody got hurt down there, just like we did, by the way. And I'm trying to help them solve their case and get get kind of a bunch of.
Oh my God, I'm so bored right now. Would it be, Ethan,
I mean, you don't have to let him go. I'm just saying,
wouldn't it be weird if just one of these cars just blew a tire? Wouldn't that be crazy? If they ran over a nail or something, or some glass.
I'm never hiring you again for scouting work. I mean,
the other cop barks at you to shut the fuck up.
Oh, this is all going so well.
Is Keith moved at all?
Does anyone have a cunning? He's just driving. You sound like a meth head.
Move to what?
Do I move his opinion, or did you move to the precinct, which is where we're going to flash forward an hour, unless you guys have another great plan?
No, I'm too depressed to come up with plans.
Okay.
Fair.
Everything I can think of is going to.
It just all seems so inevitable.
Yeah, I mean, I could hurt people, but I'm not going to do that.
So, it's kind of fascinating, and Chuck, you might feel like a bit of a badass to be booked and processed.
Oh God.
Pictures are taken, names are taken, prints are taken, and you're put into a very benign holding cell, which, Ethan, you've seen before, like when you have to get someone out who's, been drunk and hit a stop sign or something like that, a client. It is not as scary. It's the local police precinct. This is not, it's just where they hold people until they figure out what to do next.
So we're all in the same cell.
You're all in the same cell. It's now mid-morning. You are exhausted. They were kind enough to let you get coffee and food from the vending machines. So after a vending machine Danish and a cup of stale coffee, you're now jittery, tired, exhausted, and a little confused.
Good.
Yeah, I'm confused. Ethan, I'm confused by how bad you are at lawyering. Why are we still in this jail cell?
How's your foot there, Chuck? You doing okay?
I'm fine. I'd rather not be in this jail cell though. Like what's going to happen now? Because I mean, you're a lawyer.
What's going to happen is I'm going to take a nap and they're going to let us out in a few hours.
Oh. Can't we just post bail or something?
I tried a little bit of lawyering, but you decided that it would be really funny to start talking about blowing cars up. So
no, I said tires. That would have been a legitimate thing to do.
Here was the first thing I learned in lawyer school was don't talk about blowing up car tires in a police car.
And was the second thing like not telling stories that are easily not corroborated when they actually go into the tunnel and see there's no way into the tunnel?
Okay, are we all in the same cell or are we
you're
separated?
all in the same cell. You're having an awkward family Thanksgiving dinner right now.
Well, Regina's tired of shit. She's like, everybody just shut up. I'm with Ethan. Let's take a goddamn nap because we've been up all night.
Oh,
if they're just going to let us go, is that what's going to happen, Ethan? Going to walk away like this is the drunk tank?
I don't see what they're going to do to us at this point. I mean, what are they going to find? They're going to find that we came out of a tunnel, a cave. They're going to find a what do you call it? A cave in at the other end that they can't get through. They're going to figure, okay, they ended up down there, a bunch of idiots somehow, and hurt themselves. They don't seem to be,
we're going to end up owing Elizabeth and what's his name a new basement wall.
And, yeah, and that'll be that. Hopefully.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go and sit kind of against a wall sulkily, and I'm also keeping a half an eye on Regina because Chuck is starting to notice Regina's just accumulating some interesting little quirks and habits, and he's really curious about how she takes a nap.
Yeah, she curls up in a corner.
So as I roll over,
does she turn in a circle a few times first?
Picks at the floor a little bit, and then she lays down again and puts one hand over her face.
Oh, it's so adorable.
As I roll over to take my nap, I do try to exert a little influence in the world. I've come up with this thing that seems likely, and I want to kind of have the universe work with me on this.
Okay.
Do I need to pull a card?
You need to tell me what it is first.
No, I want what I said to have happened, which is simply that that short amount of time they come back and say, yeah, all right, stay out of whatever trouble you got into. Get the hell out of here. We got better things to do.
Okay, so pull a card.
Okay.
Right, so you're hoping that the police are just lazy and this is kind of a nuisance. Might work better if you were teenagers and not adults.
Sure. Fair.
Yeah.
Lawyers and accountants.
Good cut.
Chuck, yeah.
They would believe him, or believe that they believe that he believes it, if that makes sense. No one ever thinks he's lying.
No, I've never thought Chuck's lying. I flipped an 8.
Not Chuck, sorry.
Or Jacob.
8 of staves, or wands, I guess it is in our...
Yeah.
Reversed or regular?
Regular.
Oh, yes, you're so jaded now.
I've been beaten too many times.
A lot of things may be up in the air for you when the 8 of Wands appears. You may be frustrated, tired of waiting. This card is an indicator to be patient a while longer. You have already done all you can do, and decisions must now be made by other people. When this card appears, nothing appears to be moving ahead. Don't try to force things, as that's likely to backfire on you. So
that's exactly my plan, which is...
put your best out there.
Yeah.
Now wait.
Okay.
So... what you do is you do exactly what you said. It takes definitely some life out of you. But something's a little different here. As you sort of reach out to the universe, and it's hard to describe in mortal terms how that feels, but it's definitely a sense of, almost like putting your hands in the nature of the universe. Like you'd put your finger in a stream and things are going by and, you can sense something. As you reach your hands out and you're doing that, you feel what almost is a bony hand grabbing yours and you pull back quickly. There's something else looking for you as you were looking for the universe. Like you share the same mediums of affecting probability.
Huh.
And then it's gone.
Nemesis.
Oh, boy.
And with that, a couple hours pass. And what happens next, it's probably a bit surprising, is you finally get a text back from Chet, the voice of the Red Ravens. And he just said, "Found help. Sit tight."
Huh.
They let us keep our phones. That's pretty cool. Cool cops.
Yeah, cool cops, because, the narrator of this story didn't think that part through. I don't know. What else do they take? Your belt and shoelaces? You don't seem to sue us.
I don't know. Like,
Not usually.
not in this town.
They're treating you like people who maybe went on a bender or maybe are cooking meth out in the woods, and they got to figure out why.
Criminals. Right.
Not hardened criminals. But then you can kind of see out to the desk or the corner of the desk, and you notice that the patrol people are coming in and giving you a lot of looks that are getting more and more menacing rather than more and more friendly, like some discussions taking place. And if you remember, not a few days ago, there were several warrants out for your arrest that you tricked a judge into leaving, vacating, but it doesn't mean that your story or your record isn't being discovered right now.
Right.
I kind of wondered. Yeah.
Yeah.
So then what happens? Who notices it first?
I'm
Who
asleep.
wants to notice it first?
I'd say Chuck. He's too wired to sleep.
Chuck, you are looking up at the window, the barred window, which you're, trying to think of, you could jump up to it if it wasn't your bad ankle, but you couldn't fit through the bars, but maybe a clown could fit through the bars. His entire skull was made out of shadow, and you're trying to remember how many bones there are in the human body, whether it's like 7 or like 1,000, and you're not really sure.
Somewhere there.
And you could probably Google it, but that's work. And that's when you see a pair of hands grab the bars from the outside and start pulling on them.
Yes.
And against all expectations,
Hey, it's our
bars
sponsor.
in the masonry starts to be pulled away. Would you like to let anyone know what's going on?
What would Chuck do? Well,
Is this
Chuck
making some
pretty-
kind of a noise?
It's a grinding noise right now, but it's like right? Like it's a daytime now. It's mid-morning in the precinct, and there's computers and there's noises, and it will probably make a bunch of noise when it all is said and done.
Chuck does a quick calculation, runs to the bars of the jail cell and yells, "Help, help, there's something going on outside."
Oh, boy.
Why would you do that?
Because if it's going to make a bunch of noise anyway, I'd rather not be seen as somebody who's escaping from jail.
But I want to escape from jail.
I tried that from escaping from a basement, and it didn't work. So,
Okay, so all of you have decided that honesty is the most bizarre policy, and we're going to...
Okay, this wakes Regina up.
yeah.
So you wake up, you're all assessing what's going on. The people haven't appeared that much, but what appears after that is the hands stop, and then someone pulls themselves up, and it's above the ground, so they're doing like a weird pull-up to look in. And you see a luchador?
Luchador?
Like a luchador mask?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like
Maybe
a
I am
wrestling,
on
like a Mexican wrestling mask.
And a voice says, "Hey, stay quiet. I'm helping you. Chet sent me."
Nice.
And he starts shaking again, and the bars start bending, and the masonry starts going, and you can see that you're being broken out by a Mexican wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, you notice that on his left forearm is a tattoo that says, "Don't panic." And you feel like you've seen that tattoo before.
It's so familiar.
And you might think Does anyone remember where they saw it before?
Oh yeah, it was the night manager of the hotel, of the motel we crashed in.
Yeah.
Apparently, you're being broken out by the night manager of the
Schwinn Hotel.
What was it?
Schwinn Motel.
The Schwinn Motel, who is inexplicably dressed as a Mexican wrestler.
Oh my gosh.
And a few of you, actually all four of you, can't really comprehend this enough to make any sense of what's going on. And with that, the entire window is pulled out. And the window and your luchador friend drop to the ground outside. You're on the first floor, right? So the window is maybe 10 feet up or something. So he must have had his feet on the wall. And when it pulls out, now there's a big hole, human-sized hole where the bars were. And the police have certainly taken notice, and they're coming around the corner. Hey, 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 hey! And they're like trying to get keys, and they're coming at you. And the decision is on you.
Regina drops down underneath the window, cups her hands together, and she's like, "Come on, Chuck."
Yep, I'm on my way out too. I checked.
Okay.
You need help?
So Chuck ignores Regina's hand and leaps over her and out the window.
We're going to say you just succeed on that, because I don't feel like putting him through the ringer anymore by having another tragic victim. There's dramatic tension, and there's just cruelty.
Right.
I drop down and say, I hope you brought a very fast car.
So, yeah, you get to the other side, and there's a piece of masonry, and a guy dressed up in, actually a couple Mexican wrestlers are there, and they have a car waiting, which is an indistinguishable van.
Yeah.
It's like a repair van, and the door's open, and they're like, come in, come in, come in.
Hey, we all pile in.
Rabbiting in.
Okay, and so the police have got the door open, but they're behind you, and they haven't had the ability or thought yet to go around and go out the front door, so you're going to probably make a clean getaway here.
The cops are on us again.
And so you get into the back of the van. What's that?
I think it's just our destiny to be wanted.
Well, you're doing nothing but criminal activity, so it tends to actually draw the attention of the cops, or anyone else who may want you captured. So you're in the back of the van with your the dope panic guy and a couple of people you don't recognize, and it's being driven. They're all dressed as luchadors, and they are giddy with excitement at how this is going. There is a lot of high-fiving. The volume is very loud in the van. How would you like to take this scene?
Oh, God.
I feel like I don't feel like people know that we have a headquarters at the glass factory, so I feel like that's a reasonable place to reconvene.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say so.
Regina.
Exits out of there though. So if somebody shows up, can we get out?
Oh yeah.
There's a couple different doors, and there's the roof, but it's going to be exciting.
Regina extends her hand to the main luchador, the Don't Panic luchador, and she's like, So I guess the Schwinn's just like your night job?
Yeah. I'm a wrestler. It's like, name's Mike. How are you? Want a donut?
Yes. She takes a donut and eats it immediately.
There's 2 boxes of donuts. He's had like 3 since you got in there. His handshake is rather firm to the point where it almost hurts.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And he's like, he looks at you, he goes, don't worry. The wrestler's always got the circus's back. Think you're the only people who gather and put on a show in front of a circle?
Nice.
I have a donut. I have a donut in clear solidarity.
And he's like, we're not circus level, but,
I don't know.
You think wrestlers can do that without a little bit of strength and ability to take a punch?
I like it. How long have you guys been around?
Oh, we've been here in town for 5 years. We've all found each other and we just practice. We're just waiting for a moment.
I don't suppose you've got a super cool hideout that nobody else knows about?
Oh, we got a storage unit on the outside of town where we keep our costume.
Well,
okay.
So, why did you break us out of jail? You said Chet talked to you?
Yeah. Chet told us you were in trouble. And so we were following up. We were listening on our police scanner like we usually do. And so we got together the costumes. We got some donuts, and then we like came over. I don't know if this is the right plan, but that was awesome.
I love this plan. I love everything
all in
about
on
this plan. You guys killed it. You guys did a great job.
Yeah.
All right. We need to go to the glass factory. Do you know where that is?
Yeah. Which one?
So we tell them.
We give them direction. We presume
we don't have
know
to find the address.
Yeah.
And you're off to the glass factory. Now, if what Chet said to them exactly, I don't know, because Corey and I haven't recorded that yet. But
right.
We'll do that on the side. Now that I've got a beginning of the story and the end of the story, I'll have to figure out a middle to get Chet to send the wrestlers.
You really Bill and Ted's this one. Okay, remember, put wrestlers there later.
No. You guys were almost going to go to jail before. That's when the wrestlers are going to break you out. They just got delayed a couple episodes because you found a way to get out of jail before.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah, I had to bring in the wrestler angle.
Yeah,
I love it.
Of course.
Okay, so we get back to the glass factory.
Regina immediately goes up to the roof to commune with her crow buddies.
Yeah.
And asks them to keep an eye on the other glass factories in town. Because those are the splits, as Mr. Brown was saying in the past. Just kind of like let her know if anything weird is happening at those places.
Okay.
I pull Jacob aside for a second and I say, listen, Jacob, I think this is starting to get down to the real stuff here. There's something, I tell him about my experience trying to manipulate things and that feeling of a hand that was reaching back. And I say, there's something clearly working against us here. And I don't think we can avoid it anymore.
Yeah, well, I mean, did you hear that in the basement about the Nightwalker?
Yeah.
I'm guessing he's still around, and that's why things keep happening. Doesn't sound like they ever were able to figure it out. So I guess we got to find clues. Clues. So we've got the map. We've got that card which sent us back. What's in the newspaper?
Yeah, and we'll have to go to the other glass factories. I'm just saying, I feel like time's not working with us here.
No, we got to make this happen. I mean, it's... And I just sighed, grab another donut, sit on the floor.